Hello, I'm Eurig Scandrett, and I'm here to talk about the book which I and my colleagues have just published with Policy Press, Public Sociology as Educational Practice. The contributors to the book are involved in a wide range of fascinating activities in struggles for social justice. Community workers, feminist activists, occupational therapists, trade union representatives, communication specialists and artists, all doing public sociology as educational practice. We think the book will be of interest to a similarly wide range of people, academics and students of sociology or education certainly, but also practitioners and activists in many different contexts of working for social justice. That is the nature of public sociology. The book has involved people working with children and young people, working class students, refugees and asylum seekers, women with experience of domestic abuse, people with experience of mental health problems, and many other groups. We argue that public sociology as educational practice embraces ways of working that are relevant to these diverse situations. By setting up dialogues among these academics and practitioners, we've focused on who public sociologists work with and what kind of knowledge is generated when we do. We argue that public sociologists work primarily with subaltern counterpublics, in other words, those groups who are or might be resisting the social processes of their oppression, exploitation, or injustice. But to say that raises more questions than answers. How do we recognize which groups are oppressed in any particular time or place? What kind of injustice are they facing? And how are they challenging the cause of their exploitation? Who are the allies of these groups and how can they act in solidarity? These questions are asked by many community workers, social activists and professionals. But they are sociological questions, so public sociology is relevant to many people's situation, and sociologists have a responsibility to help provide that relevance. The dialogue between people's collective struggles for dignity and justice and the social analysis which sociologists bring constitutes educational practice in the tradition of really useful knowledge, with its roots in the radical working class and adult education movements of the 19th and 20th centuries. Most of the contributors to the book are employed by or work closely with universities. But university work is increasingly squeezed by the pressures of neoliberalism. Academics are encouraged to attract fee-paying students rather than working with subaltern counterpublics, and to provide education that meets the market for student or employer demand, rather than for knowledge that is really useful for social change. The contributors explore where it is possible to challenge these neoliberal tendencies and to create spaces for public sociology despite these trends. The articles here were written before COVID-19, but the book's approach ensures that it will continue to be a resource for addressing questions of how we emerge from the pandemic and negotiate our futures. There are important debates to be had about the nature of society in a world that has lost its innocence about the impact of pandemics on the health and well-being of people, as well as on the economy. The conditions of many who are socially marginalized has been exposed by the pandemic. This book argues that public sociology as educational practice can play a crucial role and learning from the kinds of social analysis that sociologists can bring in dialogue with the collective experiences of those struggling for justice.